A lot of you know about my history and stuff with my family, but I'm not going to go there right now because this is a very serious thing, what's happening in our county. And especially when it comes to corruption, especially these backroom deals, especially when these politicians are getting money from these big developers, is just absolutely ridiculous. You know, I support ENG. I think it's a good thing. I also support the state of Jefferson. I was the first one to put up a sign in this county at my location. So I wanted to let you know on that too. The thing we have here, you're talking about our forests and stuff like that, these horrific fires. If they would have done the job that they needed to do, the Board of Supervisors, after that King fire and made a state of emergency, we wouldn't have had, after the Sand fire, we wouldn't have had the King fire because they would have went in there and thin the forest, which we need to be doing, bring that debris out. And I talked about a cogen plant too that was in, that we could have built in our county that helped our county produce jobs because they talked about it. They talked especially at board meetings and stuff. The problem that I have, I was on the grand jury too. And we investigated a lot of different things that I can't go there. But I can tell you, there's been a lot of things that would make you sick, what has happened in our county. I'm going to talk about the Diamond Dorado Parkway, for example. The Diamond Dorado Parkway, I was walking the trail, my wife and I do that all the time. And I noticed the sludgy, slimy stuff that's adjacent to the trail. So I called Dan Kelly, which is a good friend of mine. He's an ex-FBI agent. He worked on the terrorist task force of our great country. The thing is, we got together and I took some samples. And the pH level was high because I took it over to Mike at the pool place. And he said it was beyond 10, and that's all his scale was. We pulled a 13.5 because I was recommended by Cheryl Blychester and Don Neslick, was sat on the Solid Waste Advisory Committee with me. And we put these environmental test strips, what these environmental engineers use to test runoff. And it was a 13.5 pH. You start losing your skin at 12. This county is downplayed. Barbara Houghton, which if I was sitting on the board right now would be fired. She even said that she even drank the stuff. She's absolutely ridiculously wrong. It's totally ridiculous because I'm going to tell you, I got burnt taking the samples. This was brought to my attention way back when a couple kids were playing downstream at Weber Creek and they got burnt. I didn't look into it because they blamed it on the rock quarry that was upstream. It came from the Diamond Lime site, is where it came from. The problem now, Kathy Amaru. Kathy Amaru was on the State Water Agency. She did some test samples back in 2012 when the grand jury report was filed. She got burnt. She fell in and she pulled a pH of 12.8. All right, she had to go home and take several showers, which in fact, her clothes turned yellow. Now this is really astonishing to me because I wasn't going to run at all because my family is real important to me. I went back east. My son right now is going through NASCAR school as a mechanic, and I hope he gets on a team. I think it'd be great for him. He's got a 4.0 grade average, and he's got a form of cerebral palsy. It's pretty awesome, I think. He's a great kid. The thing is, I talked to Kathy before we left, and she was going to work with me to get this thing done when she got back. I found out she died. The 2.5 weeks that I was gone, she passed away. And it is very, very tragic to me. You can call it conspiracy, whatever you want. I talked to different people from the water agency, the state water agency. She was totally healthy, nothing was wrong. And I really don't know what happened. But it's really, really sad is what happened. Now another thing I'm going to tell you I just found out. And I'm pretty disgusted because I presented a letter to the board. And if I got time, I'm going to read this letter. And I want you guys to understand this stuff. I got 3 minutes. Give me a little more time, Bill, and I'll get this stuff. Number 1, the covering up of the toxic commercial lime site from the public. Number 1, allowing exposure of health and safety problems to even death of those who might come in contact with this deadly substance. Number 2, the failure to alert the public through the Board of Supervisors, past and present, who knowledge and conclusion keeping the projects moving forward as the departments that are supposed to protect the public, not hide it. This is a video tape session, which was taped at the Board of Supervisors, and I'm publicly stating a warning that the county may be putting itself in litigious position, costing the taxpayers untold dollars in the future unless the land is properly cleaned and the toxic substances removed. I initiated, professionally compiled the report of water sampling, a 32-page report I gave to the Board of Supervisors. You were there that day when I gave it to you. Sampling dangerous levels of pH from several exposed areas of the properties, and will continue to expose the problem until you and your successors do your job. This has been a problem for decades, and you and the first BOS, the county departments, are trying to hide the facts. I've decided to make this my personal responsibility to make you the last. You ignored the California Water Resources Board request of the district attorney has turned the heads of the grand jury report that was filed in 2012 when they said not to move forward with this project. The Department of Social Monitor Public Safety, now under the Department of Transportation instead of the Health and Welfare, now avoids the enforcement and implication of the laws required by the state of California, CEQA, and EPA to oversee the development of properties, has been allowed in the placement of buildings, a publicly accessed waste disposal facility, and publicly accessed recreational trail over the underground toxic land. You have allowed your actions just to cover this site up. You continue to buy and allow and bought a public and taxpayers' expense more and more of the property that is involved in or surrounding this area. It's a waste of taxpayers' money, but you and me are paying for this property when they know that there is a problem. You're in your process as in avoiding the problem allows nepotism and friends and family to purchase and exchange deeds and titles to bet on the development of the profits of the toxic land on the old commercial hotline processing site. Bulldozers have tried to cover it up. I've seen and read several reports about you and your predecessors have heard. Those in charge in this plant proposed projects. A toxic waste on your own employees and departments who warned you and your previous board members to clean it up, who were conventionally removed for alerting others of the problems. So the problem is when you're a whistleblower, you get put down. This stuff needs to be brought out into the public. You're ashamed of yourselves and turning deaf ears to the problem and acting in the public interest. Then you are certainly not worthy of sitting in front of me now, or should you not be allowed when your term expires. The dog and pony show at the Town Hall, District 3, lining up the first responders was a joke on them and the public trying to cover the environmental management erosion of the truth and deceit of the protect the public and defend them from themselves. I've been involved in environmental management for 10 years as a lifetime resident, 8th generation in this county. Let me tell you, I know where the bodies are buried. Trust me. Okay. We have created a president of the Environmental Management Solid Waste Advisory Committee to be so toxic that I was told the department heads in their manufactured ignorance of the problems want me removed. Most important, they have developed and maintained measurable documentation, validate the requirement updates of the plan recently in the 5-year state requirement reports. This does not show the ability of this department to function and professionally evaluate the plan that I have helped develop in this county. This is one of the reasons why I'm running, but there's a lot of other issues too. I care about this county and I care about the people here. You're talking about public safety. Now this is something I just found out the other day. But I'll go back in there. There's wells, contaminated wells on Lime Kiln Road, back this area, because this place contaminated the wells. They paid, the company paid for the EID hookups along this. Now, I just found out in 2002, if people would do their research a little bit, maybe our Board of Supervisors, our staff, found out in 2002, which is public record, there was 2 children in 2 separate houses on Lime Kiln Road that died of cancer 7 months from each other. These people had a hard time selling their property or selling their houses because of the contamination. This is the kind of stuff that goes on in our county. All we do is cover things up instead of doing the right thing, especially when you're supposed to be here to help and support the public, especially their welfare. This is one of the reasons why I'm running. I care about this county. I've been here a long time resident. I have a lot of deep roots. I'm not going to go anywhere. I promise you that. So I'm asking you, if you care about this county like I care, you would write my name in as District 2 candidate when it comes to, if you get your absentee ballots, just write my name in and make sure you dot the black dot next to it. I'll make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen again. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.